welcome to Scrap Time. My name is Christine, and in this video I'm going to be showing you my latest art journal, talking a bit about my process these days, showing you a page I made and products I've used to make it, and then doing a couple demos. So first off, I want to show you that I'm currently using Dina Wakley's art journal. Now this one came out over a year ago, and then this past year she came out with the same book but in a larger scale. So if you like to work really large, she has a new large journal. But I prefer this smaller size. It's probably around 8 by 10-ish. It's, approximately. It's probably a little bigger here. I have a piece of paper. That's 8.5 by 11. So maybe more like, yeah, it's around like 8 by 11, somewhere around there. Gives you a general idea. So what is unique about Dina's art journal is the paper in it, or the medium. You have, I'll go to one where I haven't done it yet. You have this, like, you can see really thick, you can hear it, thick cotton paper. There's a burlap sheet. You have a little cotton muslin sheet. And then there are craft paper. Here you go. So a nice thick craft paper. So within the book you have a variety of different papers and fabrics to work on. So lately I find instead of finishing a page, I'm working in layers. So this is a page I did before though that is now complete. I've done these pages a while ago, so I don't know exactly what I did on every page, but I'm just going to go through it. Some of these pages, like this one, built up. I'm not completely happy with it. It's still a work in progress. Sometimes, like here, I'm just testing different products and stencils, and it fills a page. This was another work in progress. Then here, I just wanted to do some stitching, so I used that burlap and did a stitch page, and you can see you can use it both sides. Then here's another page I was playing around with. Whereas here I have some inks and paints and stuff, but I haven't completed it. This one I worked in layers, but I now like how it's finished. So this was on the cotton, and I just used paint directly on it. Depending on the technique on the papers, you might want to put gesso down, you may not. Here is another work in progress. One day I just felt like layering, it's distress oxides, using different stencils and layering them. This is just driving me crazy. Here I also use my book for, if I have stencils, for just putting them off and like adding the design off the stencil if you're spraying or painting with them. And then that will give me a base. This was, I was playing around. Here I put some gesso on the burlap, and then I was able to stamp and paint and write on it, and I just used some ribbon around the edge. This was another one I was playing with. This is the page we're going to talk about. And then that was, if you watched the episode a few weeks back, I had just stamped in it. So I have a lot of space in here. There's so many pages in here for you to play with. And as you can tell, I have a lot of unfinished pages. And then that was also from when I was stamping off from the gel press videos. So it just gives you some idea of the book and the pages and what you can get in the book. If you're looking for a new art journal, I think it's really fun because having the different types of material and papers and that, you get to pick and choose what you feel like working on. It just gives you more variety. So I just wanted to talk about this page. Now, as I said, I did the base of this page a long time ago. It looks like, I have maybe some spray inks on there or some paints. It could be distress crayons. I'm not exactly sure what I was up to, but the base was done before. I'm going to talk about then collaging on top. So that's typically how I like to finish a page. After I have my base, I like to add some collage elements. So there's some new elements that came out this past year. So I'm just going to talk a bit about them. So first off, I used a collage paper. That was this part here. And it's by Dina Wakley. And here you can see within the pack you get different prints, and you also get some blank sheets, so you can stamp on it yourself or write or draw whatever you want and then add it to the book, add it to your page. So after I talk about the page, I'm going to come back to this and show you how to use it. So next I wanted to add in some of this new worn wallpaper from Tim Holtz, and I'll open this pack up. So these are designs they took from Wallpaper he found. It's a nice thick paper, so great for mixed media. You get 2 sheets of a bunch of different patterns. Some of them have it has a nice texture to it. It's not just a flat sheet. It's not like it's really textured, but it just has a nice finish to it. And you can just see some of the different vintage wallpaper designs. So I picked some I liked and then put it on the page, and then I decided to go with this blue one. So this is a really cool pack if you want some interesting vintagey designs to add to your page. So after I got my collage paper and the wallpaper, then I wanted to add some washi tape strips because it's easy to add those. And so again, this is from Dina and Dyan. They have these new sets of washi tape. I've mixed them all together, but I like their washi tape because they're really artsy. So there's a lot of different fun little artsy images. I went with color this time. I took that orange with the hearts and then these ladies and the writing, so I mixed both of their washi tapes in there. Then for this image, I used Dyan's Cat Among the Pigeons stamp set. I went with this one. And what I did was I stamped it onto those collage papers I made in the previous video. So I decided I wanted some blue to go against the pink. Now, the one thing is that when I stamped it, I just stamped it regularly with archival ink I used, but it came out quite light. So if you're stamping over anything like this, you may want to use a stamp press so you can get a couple goes at it. Because it was quite a simple line, I was able to go in with my Sharpie and just go through it all to make it darker. And then I just cut it out, add it to the page. Then the little words are, again, collage sheets from Dina. You get piles of different sayings. They're really small there. But so I just added the little collage there. Then I wanted to add a little stamp detail. So I used Tim's Ornate trims. This is one of his newer stamp sets. And it's so great because it has really tiny trims all the way to a bit larger, and you can curve these if you needed to. They're great for cards, for art journaling, scrapbooking, whichever. There's so many here that you can use over and over and over again. Now, it might be hard to see, but along here I have little pink triangles all the way down the page. And for that, I use this stencil. This is a Dylusions stencil, and I put it there, and then to get the triangles I used the new little detail brushes. It comes in a set. These are from Wakley, and I was able to just do that little triangle. I think they're not all exactly, oh, here's the pink ones, so I think this is the ones I used. Something like that. And so I was able to just go in with this and just put the ink in the triangles and not get it in the other one. So these little detail brushes are great to use for little work if you want to just stencil in small little areas. And the final thing I did was I used the Nuvo glitter drops, and I put a line here, and then I just used my finger to squish them out. And I'm going to show you how I did that as well. So now it is time for me to show you a couple little things. So I'm going to go back. I think there was a page over here I can use. Yes, this page here. This is the page I'm going to work on. And I'll pull out. So you can see they're like, it's thicker than, say, a regular tissue paper. I'm going to use this one, I think looks so cool. Now when you use it, the best thing to do is to rip it. And you might want to rip this edge as well. If you have a solid edge, you see more of that line. If you have a ripped edge, it tends to blend in to your page better. Okay. And I'll just add this here. So I'm going to use Distress Collage medium, but any gel medium would work. So what you want to do is you put your medium onto your page. Make sure it's covering the whole area you plan on putting it down. And then you put it over top. And when you put it over top, that is when you start to get the under piece coming through the tissue. And that's what the collage tissue is sort of cool for, is that you still see what's underneath your page. And it just adds that extra print sort of on top. Now I have, by putting this medium here, I realize that some of what's under here is water reactive, so it's moving around a bit. And so depending what you're putting your collage over, depends how it will react. If it's a acrylic paint won't move, but if you've used sprays or just like watercolors or something, it may move with when you put the medium over top of it. So that's all you need to do for the collage sheets. And then even though this is wet, I'm going to add this around the side. So a lot of times with this, people will put little dots for flowers or dots and add things. But there's many ways you can use it. So one way I like to use it is I will just say put out a line and then just use my finger and just add glitter to my design. And it will just give you a nice little glitter over top. Can you see the glitter? No? Let's see if I can move it. It's especially if you look up here in that little black one, you might be able to see it popping out there. So instead of having a blob of glitter and dots all over, it just, in real life, you'll be able to see like I have little glitter there. It's not in your face glitter. If you want like intense glitter, then use glue and powdered glitter. But this just gives you that little layering of glitter over top of the design, or just as an added element to your page. So hopefully that gives you some ideas when you're working on your next projects. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give our video a thumbs up and subscribe to Scrap Time videos on YouTube. In the meantime, here are a couple other videos you might be interested in watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.